Kitco News special coverage of the 31st Global Metals and Mining Conference is brought to you by Gold Terra.
Hello and welcome to Kitco News with me, Paul Harris. We're here in Florida at the BMO Metals and Mining event. I'm joined this morning by Ron Hochstein, President and CEO of Lundin Gold. We're talking gold in South America. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, Paul. How are you?
I am very well, thank you. Pleased to see you again. Lundin Gold had a great 2021. You beat your production guidance, you beat your cost guidance, great set of results, congratulations. What were you most pleased about?
Thanks, Paul. No, the team did an amazing job. I think overall, just very happy with the way the operation is. And in particular, through COVID, we're here at first conference in person, but COVID is still very much part of every day in our operations. And so to have met those goals and beat our goals on fronts, on cost and production in this environment, I think is a real credit to the team at site. And what we also continue to see is continued support from local communities and everything, and really understanding what mining means now to these communities. There's so many positive things this past year.
Excellent. I want to talk a bit about ESG and the social aspect in a moment, but looking at the mine, you're now expanding the mine. What is the ultimate vision for Fruta del Norte?
Well, we expanded from 3,500 to 4,200 ton per day, and that went really well. And we've seen some additional benefits in improved recoveries also. Next step, we believe that we can debottleneck to get to approximately 4,500 ton a day. And now we've got a team that's doing some studies to look at what's next. And part of that is our underground drilling program to expand the resources, but also looking at tailings capacity, mill capacity, all aspects to say, what could we ultimately get to? What we really look at, where can we get to in, say, 2024, 2025? Okay.
What's the ultimate vision for the company in Ecuador? Because you've got quite a large concession package or land package, so it's not just exploration around the mine that you're starting to do. You're also starting to do regional exploration to look for other things, yeah?
That's right. When we acquired Fruta del Norte, it was a very significant land package. But because Aurelian was so focused on Fruta del Norte, and then Kinross did do a bunch of work on land, but then stepped away before they actually did any drilling. So it's been it's a very prospective land package, but there's been essentially no drilling. So yeah, we're really excited about this. We drilled about 11,000 meters last year. We didn't find any ore intercepts, Paul, but we found the signs of epithermal systems in the area. We know we've got a fantastic deposit just 7 kilometers north. We know we're in the right area. So now we've expanded the program this year to 16,000 meters. And yeah, 2 drills are turning right now. And that's really the push, is to find another Fruta del Norte. Again, continue to expand FDN, but find something else and develop it. So I truly believe that this part of Ecuador is going to be like a mining camp, like a Timmins or those types of camps that we've seen in our history in the mining in that area.
It'd be quite something to find another Fruta del Norte.
It might be amazing, and the team feels that, yes, we will.
Okay, well, let's talk a little bit more about Ecuador as a jurisdiction. The government of Guillermo Lasso is a pro-business, pro-mining president, so that's obviously very encouraging. But there are sort of challenges. I mean, in terms of communities, in terms of water, in terms of forest. How has the jurisdiction evolved during the time that you've been involved there?
The jurisdiction has evolved quite a bit. There are areas within Ecuador where there are challenges, in the highlands, like Cuenca, that area, there still tends to be a significant anti-mining. And as you say, it's around water. Other parts, it's like any country. There are areas that are very much pro-industry and pro-business and pro-mining now. But yeah, Lasso is doing a great job in promoting it. The big challenge he has is he does not control the National Assembly. He does not have a majority there. The party that is a majority is a party called Pachakutik, which is indigenous and has tended to be anti-mining, or anti-resource development. And so that's his challenge, is they're the majority in the National Assembly, and he's trying to push one agenda, and he's got this counterbalance in the National Assembly. So it's a challenge, but he's not wavering. He's continuing to push. And that's where our role at Mirador, the other mine that's operating, that's what our role is to be able to show what responsible mining means in terms of exports, jobs, taxes. We are going to be paying income taxes based on our 2021 performance. And that's, a significant help for him to show what mining can do for the economy.
Thank you, Ron. Let's talk a little bit more about that. I imagine when you sort of first went in, there was perhaps some cynicism or skepticism that there would be benefits accruing to the broad population, the local population. But now the company I know has developed a load of different social programs, and now you're operating, generating cash flow. Has the penny sort of really dropped that, yeah, this is good for us? Besides jobs, there's money coming in, there's various different benefits coming in from having a project nearby?
Yes, I think that story is really starting to come out, and it's coming out nationally. Like they just announced the exports for 2021, and mining was anticipated to be 1.6 billion in exports. It was 2.1 billion. It's number 4 now for the country. In terms of economic benefit, the province of Morchichipe, which is where Mirador and ourselves are operating, if you compare tax growth with sales from 2019 to today, it's up 54%, where every other province is either down or maybe up 4 or 5%. So the statistics are coming out that mining does generate significant economic development. And yeah, now that we'll be paying taxes this year to the federal government, the challenge locally, though, is the movement of funds from the national government down to the local government. Like that's a resource governance, that's not our area, but that's the challenge we've got.
Thank you, Ron. We've spoken about this before. A lot of mine project developers, the focus is on quick payback to satisfy banks, satisfy shareholders. But we've spoken before, and you said, Ian, it's important also for the government to get sort of tax receipts early or royalty receipts early, so it can show its population, its voters, that having a mine is a good thing. What's been your experience there, and how have you sort of tried to do that in Ecuador?
Paul, it's something I firmly believe is, many times we talked about mines trying to get special tax treatments and tax holidays and things. To me, that's a fundamental mistake. We got to remember the resources that we're mining are the property of that government, the property of the citizens of that country. And so they should be sharing very quickly. And that's why I think royalties is one way that really helps to get those streams going to the locals. And then the other things companies can do is try to help governments to ensure that some of those royalty monies are being shared with the local communities and not just sitting in the national treasury. But then your overall tax regime and that, I think it's important that you're sharing the wealth as quickly as you can with the citizens of the country.
Okay, I think there's a growing awareness in the sector in general that that is the right thing to do, is the way forward, particularly if companies want to continue developing projects and growing.
Yeah, it's so important.
Okay, now Fruta del Norte is starting to generate a lot of free cash flow. So let's talk a little bit about capital allocation. Obviously, you've got debt to pay back. We've talked a little bit about exploration. And when the company was originally founded, it was founded with the idea of growing into a substantially mid-tier or even a bigger company. Yeah. What's the sort of capital allocation plan for this year and perhaps next?
Our capital allocation plan is some of the things you mentioned, growth, but obviously we generated over 180 million of free cash flow last year. So yeah, 14 million on exploration is not that significant. But if we tag something, we have the cash to really hit it hard. Expansion of facilities, those are the two big things. Debt repayment, as you stated. The board actually now has instructed management to put forward a dividend policy for the board to consider in May, so return to shareholders. And then M&A, look at opportunities. If I look at the skill set of Lundin Gold and what we've been able to do, it's really, for us, it's a development type project, ideally LATAM, because that's the area, and in jurisdictions that we feel that maybe some others wouldn't look at, that we feel the timing's right, and we've got the team to do it.
Now, Lundin Gold is obviously part of the Lundin Group, and you don't have to go too far to find a potential target that meets a lot of those requirements. And I'm obviously talking about Bluestone Resources. A lot of the team that helped build Fruta del Norte are now at Bluestone at Cerro Blanco. It's a high-grade gold project. You're a high-grade gold project. Lundin Gold has, you could say, a certain expertise of working in challenging jurisdictions. Guatemala perhaps isn't everybody's first choice. You've got $260 million in cash on your balance sheet. They're going to need sort of that amount of money to build Cerro Blanco. Is that I won't say a done deal, but is that something that's potentially on the cards?
Well, it's something that there's lots of things we're looking at. Yes, it's one of the things that we have been looking at. Obviously, as we know, it's common shareholders, so we have to be very cognizant of the process that we take. But that's the type of thing that we are looking for.
Okay. Now, you're in South America. Is that going to be the sort of where you want to stay in terms of geographical jurisdiction, or would you potentially consider North America or even elsewhere?
We definitely want to stick in the Americas, like North-South America. We would consider elsewhere if the opportunity is there. The challenge we've got is Fruta del Norte is such a great asset that we're not going to grow to be more than a single asset company just for the sake of doing that. It's got to be accretive to our shareholders. So management has to have a lot of discipline and patience, and we'll find something. Again, the focus is on North America. Yeah, definitely North America, stay in the Americas. But if we're not finding there, then we have to look elsewhere. Then that's what we have to do.
Okay. Now, we're obviously at BMO Metals and Mining, and some of the notes coming out from BMO's analysts about the presentations they're seeing here. A couple of the themes, 3 themes are ESG, capital discipline, but also growth in M&A. And capital discipline and growth in M&A is often sort of butt heads, so to speak. What are your investors telling you about that? Do they want the capital discipline? Do they want the growth, or a bit of both?
That our shareholders are generally happy with the way it's going, and they see the significant cash flow. Our shareholders are quite happy. They're quite excited now that we are talking about potential dividend and shareholder redistribution. They know we're looking at growth. The issue is we're generating so much cash. And the other part is I think our shareholders feel comfortable with management, that we will be patient and disciplined in M&A and not grow for the sake of growing.
Okay. Well, let's sort of close with the following question then. A forward-looking blue sky question for you, Ron. What will Lundin Gold look like in the sort of 2 to 5 years' time?
2 years' time, we'll see the works underway to expand the operation. We will have grown, in my opinion, FDN, the resources itself, to either maintain or expand the mine life. 5 years' time, we will be working on studies on a new Fruta del Norte in the area, and FDN will be expanded and continue to run.
Will it be asset number 2, number 3?
Potentially, yeah.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to finding out more about that as and when that happens. Thank you very much for joining us today here at Kitco News. Ron Hochstein, the President and CEO of Lundin Gold.
Thank you, Paul. It's been great.
Thank you. And stay tuned for more from Kitco News from BMO Metals and Mining.
Kitco News special coverage of the 31st Global Metals and Mining Conference is brought to you by Gold Terra,